Pages in Nordcraft represent individual pages of your website. Each page has its own distinct URL that can be navigated to in a browser. Take, for example, on Nordcraft.com, you can navigate to Built with Nordcraft or Nordcraft by example. These are both separate, distinct pages. In web terms, each page in Nordcraft is a page of HTML surrounded by HTML tags. And pages are built with HTML elements and Nordcraft components, which are all just HTML under the hood. Each new Nordcraft project comes with one page to get you started, which you'll see in the project sidebar. It's called Homepage, but you can change this to anything you like by right-clicking and choosing Rename. When viewing a page in the editor, you can configure the page settings at the top of the data panel on the right by clicking the displayed URL. The URL path for this default page is /, which indicates it lives at the root of your website, which in Nordcraft's case is the page you see when you navigate to Nordcraft.com. To change the URL path of a page, click the plus button next to Path and add the URL you want this page to be accessed on in a browser. You can also add more additional path parts which are separated by a /. Think of the URL structure like navigating through a series of folders on your computer. You may have a page called /products, and subpages of products may be shoes or coats. The URL path part can also be generated dynamically instead of being hard-coded. For example, if you're fetching a list of shopping categories from an API and showing a category list on your homepage, you won't want to manually create a page for each category. Instead, you can use the param checkbox to instruct Nordcraft that this value will be dynamic and set a test value for use within the editor while you work. You can then use this dynamic value in the editor, for example, when making API calls to fetch products for a specific category, when building logic, or displaying text. In addition to path parameters, you can also define query parameters to include additional information in the URL, which can be useful for optional settings or filters, such as if you want to filter a list of shoes by the color blue. You can also use these query parameters throughout the editor when building logic. For search engine optimization or SEO, you can also configure page metadata, such as the title, language, and description. These settings are added to the HTML output of your page, which you can inspect using browser DevTools. You'll also see the page title on browser tabs. You can also configure these values to be dynamic using the formula editor by clicking on the FX button. To add additional metadata, such as Open Graph data for displaying rich link previews across social media platforms, click the plus button at the bottom right, choose the meta tag, and add the relevant attributes. All meta tags are added as HTML to the resulting source of the page. You can also add additional HTML elements to the head tag of the page should you need to, including script and style tags. To add a new page, access the project sidebar and click the plus button next to Pages. Give it a name and a path will be automatically generated for you, which you can edit if you need to. Each URL path in your project must be unique. If you accidentally reuse a page path that already exists, you'll get a helpful warning in the editor. When working, you can switch between your individual pages from the project sidebar and see the name of the page you're editing at the top of the element tree.